everyone, this is Patricia. Today is going to be a bit of a special podcast episode discussing about the recent trailer of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and who better to drag along with this train wreck is somebody that we've had on the podcast for pretty much every single time that we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog. So we have Tom. Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Don't thank me just yet, Tom.
No, I know. I know what we're talking about, and oh god, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, just a few days ago, the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer just dropped, and a lot of people have their reactions towards it. So, for those who are wondering, what our thoughts on it, let's share it. So, Tom, why don't you go first?
Because it was literally the day before the trailer went out, there was a leak image of the said trailer, and it was basically Jim Carrey basically looked like in an Eggman/Robotnik outfit, and I was like, right, there's a trailer coming out very soon, and literally like the next day, trailer dropped, and I was so indifferent about it.
Yeah, as for me, I think it could have been worse, but it's still not good. So let's go through it piece by piece. So it starts off in Green Hills, because we need to put in a Green Hill Zone reference, since, it was one of the first things that we did find out about when this movie was announced. Mm. And then we have this police officer played by James Marsden, and he sees that something is speeding by at 740 miles per hour, and it's Sonic the Hedgehog, and we now get to see what he fully looks like. So in trailers and in leaked pictures, we did see that he had really long legs with his sneakers, and we got to see his face. So we did have like a bit of an inkling of what he looked like, but then when we saw the full body, so many people freaked out about it.
Again, a lot of stuff in the trailer pretty much confirms what been going on, because I've been following this quite closely, and a lot of stuff about this film has been leaked. And I thought Sonic's design, it is horrendous. I sat down and watched it with my wife, and she said, "Why is there a little kid dressed up as Sonic the Hedgehog?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that pretty much sums it up." They just tried to gone too humoristic with Sonic, if you know what I mean, like trying to give him human proportions, but as a hedgehog.
Yeah, I'm actually questioning on why they decided to make it more human, more human-like and more realistic. When, if you wanted to have it like with human characters and Sonic being CG, I guess it does make a lot of sense. That has been done before. I mean, in recent years, there's been a lot of cases in which you have live-action actors and interacting with like a CGI cartoon that's just there, but. Yeah, I think that they were definitely trying to go into like a sort of uncanny valley route. I mean, Sonic does look like his modern depiction. And I'm just curious because I think that, I know that a lot of modern, Sonic fans know him by that. But I think it would have been really cool if we would have seen him in the classic style. Really short and stocky with the eyes and the pointy shoes and all that stuff. I think that would have been nice. And if you are going to go for the modern approach, I think that maybe it could have been modeled more after a hedgehog, kind of like similar to how in Guardians of the Galaxy they modeled Rocket Raccoon out of a real raccoon. But yeah, it just looks really weird. And the one thing that everybody's been pointing out is the teeth.
Yeah, the teeth looks very creepy, and it's mainly the face that really puts me off it, if you know what I mean. It's like it doesn't look right. And I think that's personally my biggest complaint about it. Like, if they gave him the eyes, the correct eyes, and like the correct mouthful structure and stuff like that, and the nose, I would been okay with this design. It's almost as if like they designed it, and basically this was like a very early draft of what it looked like, and they said, okay, that's fine, just go ahead with it.
Yeah. But as for the voice, who's Ben Schwartz, he's playing a Sonic the Hedgehog, and for the most part, I think he does play off the cocky, overconfident attitude of Sonic quite well. Yeah, I think that he did pretty decently. It's just that design. It's really.
I did have no problem with Ben Schwartz voicing him. And again, he's a very good comedian, and also he's a good voice actor. He's done big roles before, and the two shows I can think of off the top of my head he's been in is the new DuckTales show, and also he was Leonardo in the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film.
Yes.
And he did a fantastic job in those shows, and it's just now watching it now with the visual stuff, like the little. It just feels as if like Sega basically just took a back seat and just went, yeah, that's fine, just go ahead wherever you want, as long as it's making money for us.
Mm-hmm. So from the plot and from what we can be able to gather, so. It looks like it's kind of following in the same pages as like Sonic X, in which you have Sonic who's coming from either like another dimension or another planet or something, and he's dropped off on Earth. And then he's interacting with this cop. According to what I've read when this movie was first announced, they're actually trying to make this into like a buddy cop movie, which is interesting. When I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, I don't think of buddy cop, but okay, fair enough. So then we get the introduction of Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. And they're calling him Dr. Robotnik. They're not calling him Eggman, as far as I know. It could change. And, wow, what an introduction, I must say.
There's a thing I like about it is that I think Jim Carrey, he got that smartness style of acting, and I can understand why he is doing the role. I think he's going to be one of the saving graces in the film. I think he's going to be portraying the world very well in that sense, being a smarmy, arrogant, egotistical bad guy.
Yeah, he definitely kind of acts like the Dr. Robotnik from like the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the 90s cartoon, where he's like really over the top. This
is going to be my theory, what's going to happen. I noticed in the trailer, you see him in at least 3 different versions, in 3 different outfits.
Yeah.
Like, you see him in the all-black one when he first appears, and then when he's attacking Sonic and Tom, the police officer, on top of the roof, when he got all the drones and he's in, like, his mobile thing, he's in a red and black suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to happen through the course of the film. He's going to get to that final look that we see at the very end of the trailer.
Yeah, I guess he starts off as, put together, and then eventually, he does become he does look like the Robotnik that we would know of in the video games. And the way that he acts, it's like it's funny that you mentioned about, like, he's going to be one of the saving graces of the film. I actually saw, like, some sort of picture of a meme or something of that said, Jim Carrey's back is going to be hurting because he's going to carry the weight of the whole film.
I think I can understand why people are saying that, because I think he's going to be the saving grace of the film, because I think he's going to be one of the highlights of it. And from what I've heard from people, because there's been some people who came out and said they've seen the test screening of the film, and they said the biggest highlight is Robotnik in the film and Jim Carrey's performance of him. And I remember reading this article from this person talking about over the course of the film, he slowly becomes the Robotnik everyone knows, and then like last 10 minutes, which I think was going to happen, and like he's going to be the Robotnik, what everyone knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it kind of sounds a little bit to me like the new Power Rangers movie that, it starts off like incredibly serious, but then in the last act, it generally feels like it's Power Rangers. You see the group coming together, Rita Repulsa, summoning her monsters and all that stuff. It generally felt like what it was supposed to be. And from the sounds of it, they're just going to do some really weird stuff that doesn't feel like Sonic. And then in the last act, it all comes together feeling like what everybody's been waiting this entire time.
This is the thing that annoys me about that, and especially with Hollywood and studios that do this. It's basically, they feel that, people are going to see this film. They're not going to have no idea who Sonic the Hedgehog is. But I'm going to be blunt about this. Sonic's been around for almost 30 decades now, and people know who Sonic is. They know the premise of Sonic. So basically, don't try to do this whole thing saying, oh no, we've got to slowly introduce him, we've got to slowly get him to what everyone knows is. He needed to go and get to know him first before they actually know who he is and all this sort of stuff. It really irks me. It's the same with Robotnik as well. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. And it's going to irk me. I'm like, for people who are going to see the film, more than likely are going to know Sonic already, and at least played the games, read the comics, or seen the cartoon, whatever, you know?
Yeah. And
it's going to be irritating because like everyone said, "Oh yeah, that's not Robotnik," and then at the very end of the film, like, oh, it's like literally like less than 10 minutes of the film, and we've finally got the Robotnik. We've finally got the Sonic that we want to see.
Yeah, I for sure. I've read a lot of like lists of most recognizable characters in video game history, and Sonic is always at least in the top 5, next to characters such as Mario, Pac-Man, Master Chief, Link from The Legend of Zelda, or Pikachu, depending on what the list is. So, I mean, I can understand if it was like a character that hadn't been around for like over 10 or 20 years, and now they're just introducing it for a new generation. I can understand that, but Sonic has still been around. I mean, the Sonic Boom cartoon was out for the kids. Sonic Mania has been out. So yeah, Sonic is still pumping out video games, and I just find it weird that I can understand that a movie such as Ratchet and Clank would kind of be like an introduction towards maybe a new audience, because it's sort of like a niche title, especially for those who only own the PlayStation and they're into 3D platformers. I can understand maybe generating towards a new audience with that, and we'll get to Ratchet and Clank in a minute. So, but with Sonic, I mean, I don't think that you need to have like an introduction movie to introduce kids to who the character is. The character has pretty much become a staple in our pop culture. So I have another question that I want to bring up. So the song of choice that they decided to play in this, they decided to play Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise. What a very odd choice that you have a slow song talking about the struggles of the streets, and you have a character like Sonic who likes to go fast. I think that it would have been really clever if they would have had like a song from the soundtrack, whether it be like maybe from the original Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure or something. But yeah, something that actually fit. I didn't like the choice.
Yeah. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, if they're going to use any music from Sonic the Hedgehog, probably 3 songs that come to mind which they could have used and a lot of people would have recognised would have been just used the classic Green Hill tune.
Yeah.
That could have been one. Open Your Heart, Sonic Adventure. Everyone recognised that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Live and Learn song too. And I'm picking games the older generation, but I'm picking games when it was like at the height of his birthday,
Yeah, and another song that I've been seeing a lot of people use in the trailers is the Sonic Sat AM theme song.
Yeah.
Another scene that a lot of people are still have been talking about. You have that one scene which looks like it's like in the climactic ending, was Sonic being surrounded by like a million missiles, and he's like, bashing it and stuff like that. And then we have Sonic with the cop, and Sonic, and then we have Dr. Robotnik talking to like a whole bunch of government officials and soldiers and stuff like that. So. Yeah, and then of course, we have another scene that I want to like briefly talk about. So there's this moment in the movie in which when Sonic is talking to the cop and he's like trying to explain himself about like trying to save the Earth and stuff like that, and then we have Robotnik trying to capture Sonic. Now I'm actually curious, what is Robotnik's motivation? Like, why is he trying to capture Sonic? In Sonic games, he's wanted to capture Sonic so that he can stop him from turning all the creatures into robots, or maybe he wants to capture Sonic so that he can clone him to make Shadow like his grandfather did. Maybe they want to do that version. It seems like in this one, I don't know what his motivation is.
Okay, I think what's going to happen is that the whole is basically the way Sonic runs creates a sonic boom, and it creates electricity output from electricity coming off his spikes, and making blackout and trying to run as past the speed of sound. And I think what happened is that they called him Robotnik, and Robotnik wants an alternative energy source. So basically, he wants to capture Sonic and utilize his speed for energy source. That's what my theory is. And then eventually, during the film, when he's trying, basically what's going to happen is going to be a series of events every single time where Robotnik's going to capture Sonic. It backfires. Then he slowly starts to become a little bit more crazy, a little bit more possessive, like he wants to get this hedgehog so badly. And then possibly what's going to happen, he's going to chase him. Sonic is going to get home. He's going to chase him into the Mobius world. Let's call it Mobius for the sake of...
Sure, let's call it Mobius for the sake of it, yeah.
And he gets stuck there. And while he's there, he's going to learn about the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, because we didn't see the Chaos Emeralds in this trailer. I'm sure that it'll come eventually, but yeah, I mean, you cannot have Sonic without Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think the whole purpose is, basically, by the end of the film, he's so frustrated with Sonic, and he's going to get trapped in his world. He discovers the Chaos Emeralds, and he's just like, right, I'm going to make what do. I'm going to kill that hedgehog and take over this planet. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is essentially the trailer in a nutshell. Now, I actually do have a few questions regarding about this. Now, with all the negativity that is going on about this movie, and, you know, a lot of people have pretty low expectations of it. Do you think that if this movie comes out and it becomes a huge disaster, like it is, like, regarded as, like, being really, really awful, do you think that this could possibly, like, severely hurt the Sonic franchise to the point in which, you know, Sega will be like, yeah, I don't think that people like Sonic anymore. Let's just stop making games.
I don't think that's going to happen 100%. I think what's going to happen is that if this film does really, really badly, they might give Sonic a rest for a year and a half at max. Because the thing is that a lot of people need to realise when it comes to Sega, Sonic is their biggest cash cow when it comes to money. The only thing outside of Sonic that makes their money is the Small Manager game and the Total War series. Yeah. Outside those games, there's not a lot of big cash buyer franchises that they have. I don't know if that's Sega's fault or the fans are just not interested. It's probably a bit of both, if we be brutally honest. Sega's not promoting their franchises, and the audience is not caring enough and not showing Sega enough. They want sequels.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Like, around the 90s, Sega was releasing, like, a whole bunch of games. And, yeah, it is true that when it came to, like, the top 5 games, Sonic the Hedgehog was, like, ranked up there as, like, the best-selling. And I think that, you know, other games such as Streets of Rage, Echo the Dolphin, Vector Man, Alex the Kid, Rocket Knight Adventures, they were really successful, but they were nowhere near as successful as Sonic. And so Sega decided to make this decision of, let's just focus on Sonic the Hedgehog and let's just let our other franchises die. And every time that they try to, you know, bring back their franchises, like a few years ago there was a Golden Axe game that sucked. They tried to bring back Echo the Dolphin for, like, the Dreamcast, and nobody bought it. And there was Road Rash, which I think it was like Road Rage that came out last year, which was like a Sega spiritual successor to Road Rash. And then
a Knights one for the Wii as well.
Yeah, the Knights for the Wii.
Yeah.
And then there's Shenmue 3, which we don't even know where that's going. And I do know that there is going to be a Streets of Rage 4. You know, that sounds really interesting. And Earthworm, and as of like yesterday, I found out that Earthworm Jim is going to have a brand new game for the first time in almost 20 years. But they're not going to release it on Sega. They're going to release it on an exclusive console, which is the Intellivision Amiga, which is interesting, but that's beside the point. So yeah, Sega, you know, basically just put all of their eggs into the Sonic basket.
I think Sega are gearing up for this just in case, because they've got a new Street of Rage game coming out, like you said, and rumours that there's a new Night game on the way as well, which has been dropped.
Yep.
So I think and also they're really pushing more recently the Akira series as well, which has been in the last few years has been making their money in the West and in the East as well.
Yeah, exactly. The Yakuza series, you're right. Because, because Shenmue never spun off into a huge franchise, because the Shenmue series was a bit of a niche concept, and it was supposed to be like the big selling points for the Saturn, for the Dreamcast, but it didn't really like gravitate towards a huge audience, which is why, it didn't spin off after the second one. And so yeah, I think that, because they were seeing the sales and because they dropped off of the console system after the Dreamcast, they were thinking, people want to buy more Sonic games because that was like the best selling games, Sonic 1 and 2. Let's focus more on Sonic games. And that's when, we got all these Sonic games, and we discussed about all of the Sonic games a few years ago. Like, we discussed about, like, after when Sega was bought by Nintendo's Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Generation, Sonic Color, Sonic Boom, all that stuff. So I think that's what really issuing with Sonic is that, they're trying to do too much to kind of like modernize Sonic, when the most successful game in years was, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Mania, but that's because it returned to its roots, especially Sonic Mania, which was done by Sonic fans like Christian Whitehead. So... yeah. If Sega really wanted to, make sure that Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, was in good hands, they should have stuck more to a more familiar setting as opposed to like make it live action just for the sake of it.
Well, I think when I look at this film, like I said, I'm very indifferent about it. I don't know how they really feel about it. Maybe I'll wait until a second trailer drops or something. Like, there's stuff in it I definitely do like. Like, I thought the visuals with Sonic running around and also doing his spin attack on one of Robotnik's transporters, and you see him running around so fast and basically going in slow motion, was done well. I thought the Ben Schwartz voicing it really good. I thought Jim Carrey came off well. There's just a lot of stuff in this that has a lot of Hollywood stink on it, with like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And then, why you have to do it? If you don't, people are not going to go see the film.
So you know what? I think that for now, I do see why a lot of people are so irritated with this movie, with all the stuff that's in it. But you know what? Like I said before, it could have been worse. We could have had, like, everything be terrible. So you know what? I'm going to wait until this movie comes out, and I hope I am proven wrong that it's actually a good movie. And Tom, I definitely want to have you on board when we talk about this movie. Yeah,
I just hope. One thing I was glad about, they didn't make a fart joke.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, because that was, what is it? Teen Titan Go trailer was literally a massive fart joke.
Yeah, I think so. I think in one of the trailers I did see that.
But surprisingly good film, but badly advertised.
I haven't seen it, so maybe I'll give it a shot. But I haven't seen the show, so if I want to see the movie, I'll probably have to see a few episodes. But yeah, I'll definitely take a look into it. All right, Tom, I think that's pretty much it. There's not really much to say, so plug and promote your stuff.
If you want to check out some of my stuff, head over to Facebook. I have a Guardian comic book. That's where you can get up-to-date news on what I'm working on, called the comic book called Guardian. You can also follow me on Twitter at Tom Carter 1989. That's where I update a load of random stuff and some stuff about my comic book as well. Also, I got a publishing deal now, Nerds and Sticks. You can get it there, a physical copy or a digital copy of it from their website. Very cheap price. I would highly recommend it. Also, if you get it digitally, all the proceeds goes to me, so that does help. Also, I've got a new side project coming along as well. It's on Webtoons. It's called Tales of the Kid. It's essentially dark comedy where we basically set the humorous comedic side of death. Basically, city way characters can die and stuff like that. And the first short is up now. The second one is going to work. Me and Tom Paniger are working on that together.
All right, sounds great. All right, then that should be it, everybody. Let us know in the comments below about what your thoughts of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer is. Are you looking forward to seeing it? Do you think it's going to be a massive train wreck and you want it to die in a fire? Let us know. So that's it, everybody. Hope to see you around soon, and take care.
to you.